We're back to the Neil Haley Show, also the Media Giant Effect, and I'm excited first to welcome my co-host, my special co-host, who Dr. Ted does Wisdom Teeth Wisdom and some celebrity stuff himself. You played with Dog the Bounty Hunter, Pool, and different celebrities, and he's a celebrity oral surgeon. Dr. Ted, what's going on? And I know you're excited about our guest today.
I am. This is going to be fun. I'm enjoying having the chance to say hi.
Yeah, it's just a fun thing about what the Media Giant does. He brings celebrities in their own field to the celebrities on the screen in different places. And I'm excited to welcome to the show Alison Arngrim. Alison is from Little House on the Prairie, and you were the bad girl in Little House on the Prairie. I look forward to hearing more about that. I did watch Little House on the Prairie, but I would say I was not at all the time watching it. I have a friend that is a huge fan of the show. But Alison, thanks for stopping by. We're going to learn about your latest projects. And you told me how busy you are with a bunch of different things. So thanks for stopping by.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. So Alison, let's just jump right into specifically enough. Did you always want to be an actor? Was that growing up what you wanted to do?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I got my first job when I was 5. So how long was I waiting? What does that mean? My whole family were in show business. And for some kids, they're sort of like drag kicking and screaming to the audition. So it wasn't that. It was like, well, everyone I know is doing it. My family, all of my friends. It was like, I thought everyone was in show business. It was one of those situations. But so I got my SAG card, when I was 5. So I started working then and doing commercials and things and TV shows. And then I was about 10, I did a movie. That was a trip. I did a movie called Throw Out the Anchor with Richard Egan and Dina Merrill. It was sort of a ripoff of Houseboat with Sevilla Loren. We did that. And then what's funny is that I didn't work a lot after the movie. And my father, who was managing me and other people, said, well, a lot of child actors, they work a bunch when they're like 6 and 7 and 8. And then they don't work till after 18, or they don't work at all. So I got your career might be over speech at 11. And then I got Little House at 12. So people always say, are you doing a comeback? And I go, no, Little House was the comeback. I'm on like my 57th comeback at this point.
Oh, my goodness.
I look at my days in professional wrestling, Alison, the same thing, and Dr. Ted, that, I could make a comeback at 50. I retired from wrestling at 29, but then I made 3 little mini comebacks into the ring a couple times in that 25-year span. And it's just something that, you never know. So you never know about anything. I thought, at one point when I was running my tutoring business, I'm not gonna do celebrity interviews anymore. And look what I am today. So we just never know the way the business works, the way it's a journey for sure.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, when you look at, some of the greats of the years, the Bob Hopes, the Carol Channings, the older stars, Betty White, these people didn't retire. They were working and appearing on TV at 98, 99, 100 years old. So, yeah.
That's why they lived so long. You nailed it. Betty White.
This is true. My doctor has said, if you can really not retire, it would probably be best. If you must retire, then, you do something else. You take on some other thing. You go back to school. You do some major thing with your life. He said, the people who retire literally don't do anything. He said, they'll get sick. They'll get sick. He said, I can't do anything for them. Everything starts to fall apart if you're not doing anything.
Sitting disease.
Yes. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
And the lack of a goal kind of thing. Yeah.
True. But looking at George Burns with all those cigars, that he smoked all the way up until he was 100 and acting all the way through, Betty White. I don't know how people do that at that age. It's crazy. And that just shows the value of keeping active, just like you.
Right, because some of them with like George Burns, it's really a healthy habit, and yet he lives it because the working, having somewhere to be, somewhere to go, it really makes a huge difference.
And the pressure keeps you active.
Yeah.
Right.
But good pressure. Fun pressure.
Yeah.
Right, good fun
it's cool.
pressure.
I'm always doing something. I just haven't. So I did a movie in 2020 called Even in Dreams. I've been doing, when everything shut down, I just started doing my stand-up show online on stageit.com, and I have one coming up in December on Friday the 16th, I believe. So I have a December show. And then I've been doing a lot of readings on Facebook. I started reading the Little House books to people live on Facebook. That was so much fun. I put on a bond. I go, we're going to read Little House on the Prairie today, and just read the things. And that just turned into a whole crazy thing. So I still do some of that. And now I'm traveling and stuff. There's been so many autographs. Little House on the Prairie is coming up on its 50th anniversary. 2024 is
Well,
50
I'm gonna,
years since Little House
so
started.
when is it? 50 years?
50
2024?
years, 2024.
Oh,
But
you're already
Little
gonna
House
be back
started
on
in
the bed, but I
74.
think you're gonna be on more. I love your publicist, so we'll figure out topics and stuff. I think we could have fun on those conversations. So, Dr. Ted, what question do you have for Allison?
Yeah,
What
do tell.
question do you think?
You know, even the little bit of speaking that I do, if it has to be something that's prepared, I just don't understand how actors and actresses are able to prepare, especially at the young age that you started in. How does a young actor get lines down? How do you learn it?
Well, it's a bit of work, but I mean, it's almost easier when you're a child because what are you doing all day in school? Please memorize this alphabet. Please memorize these multiplication tables. Now you're learning how to read. Please memorize what all these words and how they're spelled. As an adult, you're usually not having to memorize the spelling of lists of 50 words and memorize endless math problems. Could you please memorize the Pledge of Allegiance and the beginning of the Declaration of Independence? You're memorizing all this stuff all day in school. They're asking you to recite things. So you're kind of just sort of a regular thing you're doing when you're 9. So it's like, here, go memorize this stuff. And then, of course, with TV, you have the wonderful advantage of you shoot a scene at a time. You know, you might shoot a scene, it's 4 or 5 lines, and then it's cut because you're going to the next thing. Now, doing theater, that's a bit of work. And doing theater when you're young is quite something because you may have 2 or 3 acts, and there's no cut.
Yeah, but then you also went into stand-up, right?
Yeah. I started doing stand-up when I was about 15, which,
15.
is really young, but
This is crazy.
it was crazy because when you're on a TV series, people tend to like either they sing or do something so that they can go on talk shows. And I couldn't sing or dance. So I took up stand-up comedy and it suited me. I think it was watching all those Carol Burnett shows as a kid and she would come out and take questions. I went, oh God, I want to do that. So I wound up talking to the audience and so much fun. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. And now I have a whole like hour and a half one-woman show and it includes a Q&A. But yeah, absolutely. There's a whole scripted piece.
She was brilliant with audiences.
Yeah. Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Dr. Ted?
Oh, I was going to say Carol Burnett was brilliant with audiences.
Oh, totally.
And that's what I love. And that's why I love doing the Q&A thing in my stand-up because it reminds me of the old Carol Burnett show and all the improv.
Yeah, cool.
I love improv, by the way, and I love to maybe do a little, like, whose line is it anyways? I'd like to try something with you at that at the end, if we want to try that. See that? I guess, because again, I'm a former pro wrestler, so I can go with the flow. Wits go and come up with some characters, say this and this, and Ted could come up with this storyline. And let's do it. We'll see what we do at the end. That'll be fun to finish up. This is what I like about it's my show. I can do damn what I want. Yeah, exactly. And that's the power. So how did you become considered the bad girl of Little House? See, I don't know this. I'm gonna have, and I know Little House is on Inspiration TV all the time, and
it's on everything 24 hours a day in 140 countries.
Exactly, it's crazy. Constantly, I can go right into and find it. But tell me about Bad Girl. Explain that to me.
Right. Yeah. Well, obviously Little House on the Prairie is based upon the books by Laura Ingalls Wilder, where she wrote 9 books, starting with Little House in the Big Woods, Little House in the Prairie, Farmer Boy, etc., on and on, Little Town on the Prairie, etc., covering her whole childhood. And then these got optioned for a book, and Michael Landon, who just come off Bonanza, was a huge star. So NBC said, hey, we should give you your own show. And he's like, I want to do Little House on the Prairie. And they said, you're crazy. And he said, no, I want to do Little House on the Prairie. So next thing you know, he's Pa Ingalls. So it's all about from Laura's point of view, played by Melissa Gilbert. But you see, they go into town, and the town, there is the store, it's a general store run by the Olsons, and the very nice Mr. Olson, and the hideous, awful, mean Mrs. Olson, and their spoiled, horrid children, Nellie and Willie. And I am Nellie Oleson, who is Laura Ingalls Wilder's arch enemy, who she wrote about in her books and wrote about in more than one book in Little Town on the Prairie. She kept going and writing about her as a teenager because she tried to steal her boyfriend, Almanzo. And she was just so awful that she marked Laura for life to the point she wrote about her in her books.
Oh my, that's a reputation to carry around with you.
And it technically took 3 people to be me. I found out when you do study the history of Laura that she's based on 3 different horrible girls who bullied and tortured her, that she combined into one person. She's like that bad. So yeah, during the course of the show, I abused stuttering children. And there's a poor girl whose one leg was shorter than the other, and I was cruel to her. And then, of course, mostly cruel to Laura and her sister Mary. And generally cheated on Tess, broke things, smashed things, screamed, yelled, stole, cheated. Yeah, usual.
And you kind of played that off in your stand-up, right?
Well,
Based
yeah,
on that.
because people hated me. It was this whole bizarre story. People calling me, well, a bitch in the street, and people throwing things at me
Really?
in the
You're
Christmas
kidding me?
parade.
You
Oh yeah.
seriously? That
Oh
was
my God. Still, people, my friends, people will say, you're friends with her? Why? And this is 48 years later. My poor husband, people like, you're married to her. Oh, God, what's that like? People still are terrified of me. It's that. And so, yeah, I just wrote about the whole insanity of being an ex-child star and having people hate you for things you did when you were 12. It's quite bizarre, but it's pretty darn funny too.
You
Did
think
you have a
about
hard
that.
time with,
Go
did you have a
ahead.
hard time with that when you were younger?
Not really. I mean, it was weird, like right away. But as soon as I hadn't read the books and I didn't know about Nellie until I got the show. So I had to like go read the books. Go, whoa, this girl's horrible. But as soon as I got the pages at the audition, I was in shock. I said, this picture. My father says, girl's horrible. What is happening? And then as soon as I got it, I was like, oh man, okay, I'm the villain. Yeah. Okay, now what? And so I ran with it. I always liked villains in movies and TV shows, so I thought it was great. But yeah, I was surprised at apparently I did a better job than I thought because people were actually afraid of me and hated me. So that was kind of stunning.
See, everyone likes to be the bad guy. Okay. And as a professional wrestler, I love playing a bad guy more than the good guy. Completely.
Okay, completely. The wrestling thing, seriously, when I was in parades when I was young and I'd go down the street and people sometimes they would boo. You know what I would do? I would do this thing. I would do this thing of like the wrestler. Yeah. Of like the evil wrestler characters. That's totally what I was doing at the time.
But it's so great, the good guy versus bad guy and being a villain. And I know that people as actors love to play villains, but again, younger, it's understanding. But to know that people hated you, who do you think of other child stars people hated as much as you? That's a great
Oh,
question. I
not
don't know
many. I
because
mean, oh gosh, that marvelous actress was opposite Shirley Temple back in the day, who was just, yeah, she was just marvelous. She was just so mean. Jane, and she played a child villain, but still, okay. The closest to really a scary child going back in the day. I mean, now it's villains are more popular, but Patty McCormick, who was in the movie The Bad Seed in the 50s, and that was shocking. She was actually a child murderess in the film. And of course, I saw that movie like 800 times before I got Little House out there. Tells you something. But yeah, no, and she's very well adjusted. And she was the scariest child, I think, in cinema until me.
oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. Until you, and you wouldn't think about that. And that's a question to ask. Is there anyone out there like that now? I don't know. That's a hated.
Oh, I don't know if there's any young girls. I mean, one of the problems we have, of course, with reality TV, but that's a real problem for like the young kids because it's you. And as we know with reality TV, things are scripted and they set up scenarios like you're going to be the bad one and you're going to be the nice one. But for children, they don't really know that, and it's not scripted like you are playing this person named this other thing. It's your name, and they're saying that little Susie is the bad child in a reality show, and that gets weird because people watching it, she's not playing quote a part, and so then they hate her. Hey, I was in a wig and a dress and had a different name, so I'm like, it wasn't me, man. So it was a much healthier situation. But you know who actually is a marvelous actor, and he left. He got out of television, just went back to theater. Was the young guy who played King Joffrey on Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Was so horrifyingly, and he was playing the young, like 15-year-old evil king. And man, he was good, but it was so intense. And he had come out of a very serious theater background. So when people in the street started coming up to him and yelling and screaming, he's like, oh no, I'm not doing this. He quit. He finished Game of Thrones, and then he said, yeah, that's it. I'm going back to theater because this thing where people scream at you is just like too weird.
Now, being the villain,
I came up with another one, but go ahead, Ted, with your
well,
next question.
being the villain is such a contrast to what your mother did, being the voice for Casper the Ghost. So
my mother was in cartoons. My mother was the voice Casper, the friendly ghost. Yes, exactly. It was the nice ghost. And then she was also the witch, the little witch was, the good witch, and Wendy the witch. And she was Nightmare the horse, all the nice ghost characters. And she was Gumby. And she was sweet Polly Purebred on Underdog's girlfriend. And then Davy of Davy and Goliath. So yeah, she played the nicest cartoon. She was the nicest cartoon character in the world. She was all the nice people. She later got to play a villain here and there in her live work on TV and stuff and film. She had an episode of She's the Sheriff, and she was the villain. And she almost wasn't going to do it. She said, I don't think I can do this because the character, she's the villain at the end, and she's terrible, and she punches this man. And I said, oh, come on. Come on, we're related. I was Nellie Oleson for 7 years. I know you can do this. I actually coached her to play a villain in a sitcom,
Oh, wow.
and she was fantastic. She was so good. She completely nailed it.
Oh, perfect trainer.
Yeah, right.
Completely. All right, so we're going to go to your current projects right now, especially
Yes.
coming up Pinehurst, North Carolina, in a week. I guess it's 17th to 20th.
Yes, the 17th is opening night. Yes, yes.
Yes.
November
So
17th.
let's talk about where this is a little different than this is stand up or not stand up. This is not stand up.
Oh, it's a play. We're doing
Right.
serial
Yeah.
theater. Yeah, because I do my show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, which I do often in New York and LA. But I also do real theater. And a few years ago, I did Agatha Christie's, and then there were none. And it's this place, the Judson Playhouse here in Pinehurst, North Carolina. In fact, I'm off to rehearsal in a few minutes. And so November 17th is opening night, and we're doing The Mousetrap. Now, this is the longest, most successful running play ever. It's like Cats is the longest running musical, and Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap is the longest running play. It's huge. And it's the 70th anniversary of The Mousetrap. So they're doing it all over the place. They're doing it in London. They're doing it everywhere. So here in North Carolina, we're doing it at the Judson Playhouse, which if you are down near Judson, you know where that is. So go out Airport Road there. And the Judson Playhouse does really great stuff. So the 17th and the 18th, and two shows on Saturday, and then Sunday. And I play Mrs. Boyle, who is not a nice person, to put it mildly. So in Agatha Christie plays, there's always these characters in a law, like locked in a house, and they all have a secret. And then people start getting murdered. It's generally how things go in Agatha Christie. And everyone has some terrible secret that they're hiding. And usually they're really remorseful, but there's always one character who has no remorse whatsoever. And that's me. I always play that one. So I am the unpleasant and remorseless and extremely annoying Mrs. Boyle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so other projects going on. You said your one woman show, comedy.
So much
what
is
else?
going on. So I'm doing this, and then December, it's a Friday night, December 16th, stageit.com. I'll be doing my stand-up show from my living room, and you can log into stageit.com, get a ticket there, and watch it in your living room. So that's really cool. We're doing that. December 3rd, I'm helping out my friend Ketty Lester, who's Hester Sue on Little House, but she's also the woman who sang Love Letters back in the 60s, Love Letters Straight from the Heart. And she's performing again at 80, talking about comeback. She's 87, and she's going to be at down there at the Gardenia in Hollywood. So I'm going to be at that. There's a bunch of autograph shows coming up. And as I said, some of them I can't come see you all in person in Bakersfield. Everyone is going to the big Bakersfield Comic Con with the cast of Little House. I'll do a video. I'll see you then. I've been doing cooking videos also on YouTube, and I'm preparing to go back to France. I do a lot of shows in France, so I'm gearing up for that again.
Wow. Okay. Amazing stuff. So I'm going to throw Dr. Ted. You come up with a scenario with us playing two characters. Go ahead, Ted. This is it. Think of whose line it is anyway. It's really simple stuff, but we have to play two different characters and go, and then we'll
I love
see.
improv. I was at Lembeck's for a couple years.
I'm ready.
Oh, I don't know if I can do this.
That makes it the fair thing, because if we come up with it, we can come up with the storyline. So I'll give you just basically, she's the bad girl.
I'll be somebody negative and terrible. We can go with that. That'll make it really easy.
That really makes
some
simple.
scenario where you have an awful person.
Okay, an awful person.
Nice,
okay. And basically an awful person that I'm asking out on a date.
So it's a romantic situation. Trying to get a date.
Yes.
Great, fabulous. Okay, where are we? Do you know where we are?
We are going to be no, Ted has to pick the area. Go ahead.
You have to pick it. Where are we? What's the
what national what what area and country and go.
Does it have to be in the US? I was thinking London.
London, perfect. And I'll do the London accent. Perfect.
Oh, so we're in London.
London, yes. And you're I'm British. Go ahead, Ted. What is she gonna be British as well?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, that's not a problem. I'm British all week in this play because I am doing
there you go.
The Mousetrap, for heaven's sake.
Now come up with our names. Come on, Ted.
You got to be Nigel.
I'm Nigel. Hello, I'm Nigel. Very nice to meet you today. Okay. All right.
Let's see. Alison. Well, Alicia.
Alicia. Oh, it's all right. Alicia. Okay. I can be Alicia.
Okay, so what is it kind of pub is it? Is not, tell us what Nigel's like, or I'll come up with what it is. Okay.
All right. Yeah. You can do it. Now, are we in a pub or are we at a bus stop? Do you know where we are?
Yeah.
I like a pub just because you've got
Would you?
libations and,
Would you
kidney
mind to
pie
ask a
and
lady for a date at the pub? All right.
Okay,
then.
perfect. Let's do that. And it's just 2 minutes.
I'm Alicia. I'm having a nice, simple a pint down at my local pub.
Hello.
Right then.
Nice to meet you. I'd like to buy you a drink. Can I, madam?
All right then. I'll have a bass, thank you.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit? What is your name?
I'm Alicia. And what's your name?
My name is Nigel. I am the Duke of York, and I'm very happy to be in this pub. And I usually, the people around here are very, very pedestrian, but I saw your beauty and I felt I was going to ask you out on a date. Are you interested?
Can you really? I mean, down here in this pub, it's very nice of you to come hang with the commoners, as it were. But I mean, would your security team approve it? I mean, you're the Duke of York, and you're just asking a random lady out in the pub. It's very
Well,
nice
I
of you to
didn't
buy a
need,
drink.
I will make sure that happens. I kind of escaped. I said, I'm going to go out and go find me a chick. And I said, well, I'll come here. And I knew that there would be some pedestrian that would not care that I am a Duke.
I see. However, the fact that you referred to myself and everyone else here in this establishment as a pedestrian, and the fact that you just referred to your seeking companionship as finding a chick,
A
that
chick,
doesn't
yes.
really
Very,
make
very,
a good
because you know
sales
who I
pitch, son.
am, and I just need to have a good time tonight. And I thought, well, if I go to a place where, most of the women are very loose, I thought that this is a place to go.
See, I've heard these stories about the royal family, but you're only confirming the worst gossip so far. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, absolutely.
really, that you assume that just because a lady is in the pub having a nice pint on a Sunday, that she's automatically loose. I mean, can't a woman go to a
Absolutely.
neighborhood pub and
Because
have a
do
pint?
you see the brilliance that I am and how many women would be dying to be with me?
Just the sort of self-absorbed, egotistical nonsense that we can only expect from members of the royal family nowadays. It's not like the old days. Queen Elizabeth and her sort, these were dignified people back then. Now this younger generation of royals, but look what you get.
Are you
Men
kidding me?
accosting women down at the
I
local pub.
am absolutely very upset. I am going to not just buy you a drink, I am going to buy you a hotel room tonight. Don't you see that is such a great thing?
So you're carrying on as if I'm a prostitute. This is just the sort of thing one expects now from the upper class. Disgraceful. Good day.
Oh, I guess I'll go over to this bar here. It's a kind of a dancing club. I'll see you later.
I suggest you try another establishment, Your Highness.
Good day.
That was
All
fun.
right.
Yeah, that was that Duke Strikes Out. That was out, yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That was great. I've done that once before, and that was fun. I would love to go to acting courses and stuff because I enjoy it. This is a final thing. I auditioned once. Okay, I'm an aspiring actor. I'm turning 50 in January, and I've not been wrestling. I'm a baby. Oh, thank you. But basically, I always had this aspiring thing that I wanted to act. Then they gave me this one acting opportunity where they wanted me to memorize lines, and it was so long, and it was something where there were lines to try to be like this conservative talk show host, and it just wasn't me. I feel that, what is your recommendation when you're like auditioning with memorizing lines? How do you memorize like 3?
It's a lot of work. You may have to take longer. You may have to tell someone if you're auditioning, you may have to say, I need more time. Because sometimes they'll say, your audition's tomorrow. And if it's like pages and pages, you may have to tell, look, I am new at this. This is going to take me a couple of days to get this together. And they'll do that. And then some auditions, they'll say, nah, it's okay. We don't care. You can read, but of course you'll have to learn them eventually. So you may want to ask for more time. And then the other is, it's great when you read a part and you go, wow, this is way not me. Now, of course, a real actor goes, oh, goody. And it's like, okay, yes, absolutely. When I get a part and go, I would never do that. Oh, great. Because obviously Nellie Oleson's like, I'm not going to do all those things Nellie Oleson did. I'm not a horrible person. But that's the fun of it. And then you go, okay, what mental hijinks do I have to do, mental Olympics here, to make myself believe that I'm this person here on the page. And actually, I actually believe all of these weird things that this character says he believes that I don't believe, and try to like turn your brain around and do it. Now, what if I was this person? What if I just absolutely thought I was dead to rights to say and do all these dreadful things that this character does? It's kind of fun. It's very free.
All right. Well, I'm good advice. Dr. Ted, last question before we find out again, Alison, where we're going to go ahead and check out your latest projects, best things, and especially Pinehurst, if you're in the Pinehurst.
Yeah,
area. Go ahead.
It certainly sounds like variety is in your career, right?
Yes.
All the different things that you've done. How is stand-up more difficult than anything else you've done?
I think so. I mean, and a lot of actors will say stand-up's the hardest because it's you know, with the play, you have the script to lean on. You just, yes, you say memorizing, but you know, I'm only having to say these words. I don't have to make up any new ones.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you've got the other actors and the director and the set and the whole thing. You're somebody else and the costume and everything. Whereas with stand-up, it's you. It's your idea, and you're saying this stuff, and you're there, and the audience is right there. And if they don't like it, yeah, it's pretty much on you. If it works, then hey, it's all on you. So stand-up is extremely difficult, and doing a one-person show, extremely difficult, but mine seems to work. Has worked out for me. Theater can be quite hard depending on the character and the production. Judson always does really great, like good old-fashioned plays, stuff like Agatha Christie, the classics, which is just fantastic. And I think people will like this show. As I said, this show, it's its 70th year, but it still holds up because everybody loved the movie Knives Out. It's like, if you like all these kind of everybody in the house and who's the killer, it's like, this is your kind of show. So yeah, totally. Come see Mousetrap.
No, when's Knives Out 2 coming out? I think it's soon, right? I think it's
Right?
coming.
That's like, it doesn't take any second. Is it out yet? I can't.
I can't wait till Knives Out 2 is out. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. So best place to find information. First, purchase tickets for the play.
Yes.
And then,
Judson, the Judson Theater, and that's THEATRE. Judson Theater is on the internet. You can find them and you can buy tickets there. Absolutely, the Judson Theater in Pinehurst, North Carolina. And then there's, of course, my website, bonnetheads.com. BONNETHEADS, bonnetheads.com, for all you prairie bonnet heads. And my information is up there with my newsletter and everything. So yes.
You're updating people all the time because of all the different places you're going to be in stuff, right?
Yeah. I send out a newsletter every month just so I can get them my schedule.
Because your schedule is very busy. We appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun. And what'd you think of my first second improv? I've done wrestling, but never this. Not bad, right? Coming up with the idea.
Now your accent started slipping, and at one point
I
I
was
thought,
laughing.
oh, good heavens, he's from New Delhi. You switched from London to New Delhi at one point. But you might meet a man from New Delhi in the London pubs. It's not really outside the pub. Perhaps it was a man from New Delhi impersonating the Duke of York, which was a very interesting concept. Yeah, but you went with it. You went with it. You persisted. You said, I'm trying to get you a room. You stuck with it. So I'll definitely give you points for that.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Great acting. You want acting advice? Definitely contact Alison today. Appreciate it, Alison. Thanks again, Dr. Ted, for co-hosting with me, and take care, guys.
Thank you.
All right. You're listening and
All right.
watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.